Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. We got a major storm coming to hit us tonight. They're warning everybody about it. It was downgraded a little, and then they upgraded it a little. But they always warn us, and usually we don't get hit bad, which is a good thing. I can tell people this: we have two HARP systems in Hawaii, and both of them are capable of playing with major hurricanes, tornadoes, and things like that. All right. The last time there was 3 giant hurricanes coming towards Hawaii, and they just suddenly went sideways away from the island. So realize we are the first center of defense for the world, inside the United States. Uh, when I say the world, we're supposed to be one race, one tribe, as far as people. But we have aliens coming here and everything else happening. It's changing a lot. Never mind the gods that everybody follows, and it's a really weird place. But on top of all that, I want to go into a few things, whether they're pertaining to aliens or not. That's a different story. Right now, I would just want to introduce Tina and let her talk for a little while before I get started. Greetings, Tina.
Greetings, Tommy. Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Bird, broadcasting from Southampton here in the UK to Hawaii and people across the globe. It's good to be back with Tommy again this week. A couple of things have happened. As I said, it seems that UFOs are drawn to volcanic activity. That could be what's happening in Iceland. Iceland's Jarvik volcano has been erupting and has been throwing a bit of a tantrum, and that's been in the news recently. Don't forget, Iceland's not far at all from the UK, so we've been keeping a close watch on that. Also, what I said again a few weeks ago, it was in the news recently, the last 2 weeks, about one of the scientists has gone down to the bottom of the ocean. Sorry, could you just shut that door? Sorry. And has brought up pieces of what they believe to be a guardian messenger, one of these objects from outside of our solar system. I'll say that again in case you missed it, from outside of our solar system, and it's believed to have crashed between 2011 and 14, I believe, and it was retrieved, parts of it were retrieved, bits of it. So it's unknown whether this has caused any pollution in the ocean, obviously if it's broken apart and they've retrieved metals or what have you from it, or if this is indeed responsible for any of the volcanic eruptions. You never know, something from outside of our galaxy is going to come and hit us and land in our oceans, then it could be doing anything. So there's that. There's also things in the sky again in Southampton. My partner was out the night before last, so I could get it up on my phone and show you. And caught this pretty good. It was just a snapshot. He did have a video, but he's deleted the video. Let's get this up. 1 second. Here we go. And then there you go. So that was out in the sky. I'll show you that on my messenger. There. Okay, so that was out there. So lots of bits and pieces and things seen. Again, Tommy's suffering. It's supposed to be like summer, midsummer. We passed midsummer's day now here in the UK. It's supposed to be the hottest time of year, and all we've had so far, thunderstorms, rains and clouds. So we're not doing too good on the weather. But one of the biggest announcements this week is my book is now available on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, and there you go, Tina and Brad, The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Reduction. I've already had a review. It's on Kindle, and it's only £6 on paperback. It's going to be a large book, guys, because of the size of it. So there you go. If you want a copy, go on Amazon, order it now. Paperback, there you go. As I put, it's a bit on Amazon now, so that's the greatest thing that I've had. It's only taken 2 years. I'm not great with computers, need a bit of help, but it's come out in a large form instead of a nice smaller book. But there you go. And other things, we still haven't heard anything. There's been like a news blanket thing that seems to be getting thicker in the UK. We haven't heard anything about the American and Congress meetings about the UFO reports. Each year they released that there was going to be a follow-up to last year's disclosure reports from the United States. We haven't had that, and that's not been seen anywhere, or we've had no follow up on that. But I think probably that's been about it here in the UK. Apart from crop circles, we've had many crop circles. Of course, I live in the Hampshire countryside, which is the bottom part of England, near France, and not far from Stonehenge. And between me and Stonehenge is all the little crop circles. So yeah, so there are quite a few close to where I live. So we've been out and about looking at that, and yeah, looking at a few things. So, but apart from that, nothing new. But if you have a comment from a previous show, or if you have an answer, we've got plenty of them still outstanding. Please let us know. You can always contact me. Tommy's going to put his email address up in a minute. And yeah, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, come on the show, please do so. Again, email Tommy and we come on to the show. But the other bit of news, good news, is I will be speaking on Sunday the 13th at an Aware conference here in the UK. But apart from that, I will now pass you back to Tommy. Tommy. Can't hear you, Tommy. There you go.
All right. Let me just pull this. Kevin McCarthy, he's coming out saying he supports the release of UFO information. Congress is saying they want to release information. So it's going to come out. A lot of information about UFOs, nothing else. People, when they say disclosure, we will get into that. Tina knows and I know it happened a long time ago. It's not a new thing.
No.
Nobody in the UFO world out there mainstream in all these conferences they're having all over the United States talk about the important things that are happening. The series on TV, Skinwalker Ranch, they're showing more than any other UFO group of people, but they're starting to go on tour as well. So meaning they're moving into making money. Even though the person that owns the Skinwalker Ranch is a millionaire and everything else, but money corrupts the mind. They'd rather get publicity than follow through with what they're doing. They're releasing so many things. I'm going to talk about a few things today that are critical to what's going on. I'm not going to mention that guy's name, Stephen Greer, but guess what? Stephen Greer is the main problem. But here's the thing that's going down. All these people are being convinced that we need disclosure. And disclosure in their mind means an alien race coming out and saying hi to us and that they're going to help us, which has nothing to do with what's really going on with the world of disclosure. It never did. Never in history, since the beginning of time, did aliens help the human race, the poor and the middle class people, move forward in any way. Technology is not spiritual, and it's not a good awareness. It's always about weapons. And if you think weapons are good in any way, you got a problem. So when they gave the United States all these weapons, they gave it to Tesla to give to the United States, and he brought out 50 deadly weapons. But here's the thing, people. I just watched I never got to see Phil Schneider alive. I was friends with Al Bielek, and he was friends with Al Bielek, and he was talking about Al Bielek, about time travel and everything else. But you pull up Phil Schneider's story. It's the second most important UFO story in the United States, maybe the world. Well, basically, he was told to go in an underground base with 66 Green Berets, the top of the line. They weren't told what they were going to find when they got down there. 65 of them were killed.
They lost them all, didn't they? Was it a Delta Force team apart from one? Was it? I'm not sure. They lost them all, didn't they?
They lost them all. Phil was getting into this thing that went up and down. And
Delta Force saved his life.
And saved him and got him into that to go up. But listen to Bill talk. Now, he talks about the good aliens. To him, aliens working with the government are good. I don't know if you know about Valen Thor, was a real alien from Venus that supposedly stayed in the White House. But, again, it wasn't about people. They weren't helping people. It was only about weapons and exchange. What happened, from what
listening to Mr. Schneider's story, he was a geologist working for the US military. They were looking for something or building something underground. They blasted down into what they perceived to be a cabin. So they blasted down into this cabin. When they went down into this cabin, because it wasn't supposed to be there, then that's when they came across these ant-looking people that shot acid from their chest. Now, there's been lots of reports about people there, but it could have been that they perceived that they've broken into his nest, their nest or their home under the ground, and in fact that they were under attack. I don't know, but there is a military death record of all these people that died. So, you know, he can't be wrong.
You have to know the whole story, because
Yeah.
basically the United States was working with Evie. All right. He was the head of all Greys. All right. He supposedly had control of all the alien Grey bases in the United States anyway. So all that seemed good for a pretty long time. But when they went down in a base, the government didn't tell them. They knew they were going into a base. But they were all blasted and killed, except Phil, and he got blasted pretty bad. So basically, when he came back out, he went out telling the truth about what happened.
Yeah.
He was killed within months. Well, basically, he actually lived about 6 months. But now Al Bielek was involved with the time travel invention that was created by Tesla. Went back in time, came back, all right, and basically they created that weapon to use actually to go to war with aliens. I'm not going to go into the whole story. There's a couple books out there, one you should read that explain it in detail. All right. But while that was all going on, Evie had to be killed. All right. Because when they went into that base, they found what, 140,000 skeletons there, meaning they were eating humans the whole time. So whatever idea that they were helping us was, yeah, they helped us with technology, but they were also eating people, whether you want to hear that or not. The UFO world doesn't talk about that much. They talk about how good aliens are and the ones that get experiences and had a great trip. We don't talk about that because it's all a lie, people. There's no, and I'm going to say this, put my life on the line. I give my whole life, I dedicate my life to God, not anybody's thoughts, feelings. There are no such thing as good aliens, people. And they have never helped us. In history, they destroyed the human race. They programmed us. They did everything wrong. So when people think aliens are good, what happened to Tina was not good in any way, people. People that get abducted do not have a good experience if they remember it. And most people do not. The whole idea of them programming people, you know, Eisenhower told them, they said, if you abduct people, you got to make sure they don't remember it. But over 25 years later, people started getting into what happened, started going to hypnotists, and some just became aware. So now it's programming them, all right, that they had a great story or a great event. But it's all leading up to what is going to happen soon. Now, what I want to throw into this is the most critical thing happening on the planet right this second. The sun's going through what I call supernovas. It's exploding. It exploded more times in the past 3 days than ever in history. The United States is going through the biggest heat wave they ever had. They had a heat wave 7 days of the hottest temperatures, and we're in day 7 right now. There's no relief coming, because what's going on with the sun is starting to hit us. And now scientists just came out, oh, it wasn't supposed to happen for 10 years. And suddenly they realize, well, guess what? It's happening right now. And within 2 years, people, 2 years' time, so you better think what you want to do in your life. They said the sun's solar flares will actually start burning up all the satellites. If that happens, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going to happen to the planet. So nothing the United States, Russia, or China can do about that. All right? If aliens were going to help us, I mean, it would be right now, which they're not. People are dying in the United States because of floods and everything else that's happening because of it. All right? We're in a disaster. While Tina's in her nice little home, alien ships are flying over her. In my nice little home in Hawaii, I got ships flying over me. And then we got all these people, well, ships. Oh, they're going to prove that ships are above us. They're not even talking about aliens yet. And they should be talking about that more than what a ship's up there, but what's flying it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if the government has come out and said, yeah, these craft from another planet, so that means they're manufactured off world by different species, i.e., extraterrestrials, not humans, then where do they come from? So it's no longer, oh, it's a UFO. Yes, it's unidentified, but by what species? So they're obviously a species out there that is doing it and coming here. So you've been told by me and Tommy, you've been told by people that have come forward, genuine people, and have told you this has happened. You're more worried about seeing a UFO. You should be more worried about what those UFOs are doing that aren't seen, that aren't captured on camera, that are taking human beings. You know, you're seeing like a tiny dot, a small proportion of UFOs flying about. You should be more concerned about what they're doing and their nightly activities.
Well, I want to throw this in, people. Sergeant 18 and I worked together for almost 7 years. We filmed more physical UFOs, the shape of them and what they really look like, than anybody else in the United States. We lectured for 6 years. I did a show with him. He was my co-host, and we showed 5 pictures of UFOs every week for 9 months. And nobody said a word. I'm talking about ships, not cartoons, not a dot or a dash or a spot going around in the sky. And this is from 96 to 2002. And then again in 2020, uh, we ended our friendship for a while. We got back together. I brought him on our show, and we did a show for 9 months on Kerry Cassidy, chef's site. And that's when we were showing pictures. But we weren't showing any cartoons. We were showing real photographs of ships that we shot over the time, plus creatures and entities. Now, when we talk about UFOs, nobody's talking about what's going on in all the other realms here. Most people don't believe in ghosts, spirits, demons, Satan, and all those other words. But if you watch TV, just put on ghosts and busters and all these other things, it's escalated to a high level that way beyond imaginable. They're talking to entities. Even on the Skinwalker Ranch, they had something talk to them. All right. I was with a friend, and this entity walked right in the room. I mean, it's much more out there, important stuff going on than watching a UFO go by our house. What are they doing? Why are they here? And I'm telling you straight out, they never helped humans. The native people claimed they work with they said they work with the star beings, which meant in 500 years, 400 years, 50 million native people were killed. I guess they didn't help them too much, did they? And when people say alien races help them what? If you go through history, I mean,
How?
as far back as you want, I mean, I'm aware of all my past lives, whether you believe
There's
it.
also that backs up as self-evidence. What is what I'm going to say is the argument people are losing left, right, and centre is you want to be abducted by aliens or they're good aliens. And I had this with another abductee, so-called another person who said they were abducted. He said, no, they're friendly aliens, they're this, they're that, and I've got it wrong. No, I don't have it wrong. I said, when you were taken, were you taken as a child? And the answer was yes. So did they ask your parents? No. Did they take you at night? Yes. Did they do things to you? Yes. Did they ask you? No. So again, we're back to a species, an unknown species, coming into our Earth, coming in from outside of our orb, our globe, into our atmosphere, unannounced, uninvited, entering our airspace illegally, coming into your home, breaking into your home, however you want to look at it, taking you against your will, without your consent, without your parents' consent, and subjecting you to torture, then putting you back. How is that a friendly move? If you've got to know them over the years, then then fair enough. But how can you justify that you've been taken without consent as friendly? How can you justify an alien species taking people and children under the guise of night against their will? That's not a friendly species. They're not knocking your door. They're not saying, can I communicate with you? Can I take your child? Can I take you? Can I form an experience on you? Can I take chunks from the inside of your body? No, they're not. How is that friendly? In fact, that's hostile. So, these people that say that they're good have a lot of explaining to do before they even get to that. But hi, John, Tommy. I think Tommy's frozen there. I've either lost signal or he's lost signal.
Sorry about that. We have a storm hitting the island, so we're going to have a couple problems. Hope it doesn't get real bad. It's not supposed to be hit us till tonight. But I want to say this. We have too many people in the UFO world telling stories, creating stories, telling us everything's good. All these things that pull away from what's really going down. Now, we have whistleblowers claiming the United States is working with people on Venus, people working on Mars, we have bases on the moon. All these things, is it going to help you and me in any way? Is it helping us fight abduction? Everything the government does has nothing to do with abduction. So you think they're ever going to talk about it? They can't talk about selling out the United States. People, and they did. Eisenhower did. Truman did. They didn't stop it. And when I was born, 1952, when a fleet of ships went over the White House, they couldn't do a thing about it. A fleet of ships over the White House twice in 1 week. All right? And that's only one incident. But now they're going to start releasing some stuff of ships, which is, if you go on a couple of the different sites, you can pull up tons of videos of real ships in different parts of the world. Everybody's releasing it. But does that mean they're releasing about aliens? Out of everything I've watched over the past year even, there's very little actual photographs of aliens and what they're doing. But the most important story happened 3 weeks ago. In Vegas, a ship landed, and 2 alien grays, which were the tall grays, came out and was in this person's yard. The whole family was watching it. A policeman filmed the ship land. They say crashed, but the people in the UFO world, the people that lecture and all that, have no clue because they never saw a UFO. They weren't, next to it or anything even close. Wait. I watched the ship go right through the ground. All right, it doesn't have to make a hole in the ground. It doesn't have to do any of those things. So it didn't crash. But these grays that start walking around in this person's yard, they weren't hurt, were they? Go ahead, Tina.
No, I just, there was a lot about that in the UK. I was just watching something about that. It was on YouTube, actually, because it wasn't on the news. It doesn't make it like over. It's a bit like a blanket. But they're saying, is it true or is it false? And on that note, Tommy's also been right. So, do you know a gentleman? I'm not sure if he's been on Ancient Aliens, called Jimmy Sellis the second.
Not sure. I don't remember the name. I'm bad with names anyway.
Well, it says here. I think I'm not sure if he's something to do with the Native American people or who he's from. But Jim Sellers II says he's commented about my book. He hasn't read it. One truth is another lie, and vice versa. Age of mass deception, where it is relative and a matter of where you are on the fence or standing behind it or your flag you're waving. Currency, your worship, as those who sit on the fence, is a true pain in the ass to society at large. And I put on there, thank you, Jim. I agree. When someone is shooting from you from the top of a fence while claiming they're your friend, this is the worst of all. Trying to silence the truth of what is going on with humanity. This is a true horror of mankind. People say that they're your friend on Facebook and then turn around and saying things like that. Yeah.
All right, people. Now, why we do this show is the truth only. We don't talk about stories. Anything we don't believe or know is true, I don't put it on this show. Tina's one of the few people that I totally believe 100%. Sean Morton, who I brought on my show had a lot of problems, but he's somebody I totally believe. The government tried killing him. They had him in jail. Did all kinds of things to him. He's dying, but they had to let him out. I'm trying to get him to come back on. Hopefully, he doesn't want to really use StreamYard. But I said that was the only time we ever had that kind of trouble on our show. So I'm pretty sure it had to do with his equipment, is my viewpoint. But he's one of the smartest people, and I'm not making it up. He's a genius. He could read a book in 3 hours and memorize it. Not like what was the story about, but what word for word. All right. Not only that, he discovered Area 51. All these people talk about, say things about it. He brought people there in a van up on the mountain that was right there and watched the mothership come in every other Thursday. He went on TV, asked Montel Williams to come there, which he never did. But the people that went actually saw the mothership there. We had a mothership over Hawaii about 5 months ago. People, we're in trouble. And it's not Russian drones, it's not Chinese drones. Uh, People, get ready for a real thing. Sure, we got drones, but they can't do half of the things that UFOs can do. All right. Now, I can go into that, but we got so many things that I want to try to get into that we need to be realizing nothing good's going to come out of disclosure, the word and what they expect. It's not going to be these loving aliens come down. Hey, how are you? We finally decided to try to come down and help you. Help us what? They gave us weapons and weapons and weapons. Did they come down and give us a food that's completely healing or anything beneficial? Are they
They've just
purifying the
watched
ocean?
millions of people die of a world pandemic, so I doubt if they're going to come forward now.
Exactly. I always say, and people say that, well, this has to be good and bad. Here's the thing, people. I'll give you a quick scenario. Take an arena filled with 10,000 people, all love and light beings, claiming to be spiritual. Take 100 people with machetes, machine guns, and bazookas and everything else walking in there. Who do you think's going to walk out of there? The love and light people? You think they're going to battle these people? No. If you're in that space, you can't kill people.
But we don't promote violence on our show, by the way, people.
Yeah, well,
You
we
just
don't
use it
promote
as a
violence.
metaphor.
So, but again, people, we have to realize aliens are not here helping us. They're not helping us with food, living life, anything good. They never have been all through history. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians were given false information, lies, and twisted. All right. Sacrifice was given to the human race, was programmed into us, as well as killing. We don't need those things. We never did. So technology is not spiritual or even good, whatever words you want to put into that. It doesn't help us move forward as a race of people. Weapons, guns are not beneficial to us as humans. All right. So when Greys give us the worst, deadliest weapons on the planet, they're not really helping anybody other than themselves to do whatever they want. Tesla was given all these things from an alien race. 200 inventions, 50 of the most deadliest weapons, and they were given to the United States. And the United States is releasing their satellite, their UFO, by the end of within a year's time. It costs $40 billion. It looks incredible. It will be out publicly soon. It has every weapon known to man, or unknown to man as well. And guess what? It will make us the leader in the world again. But, people think weapons are going to save us. It could only bring the downfall of our society and our world. Blowing up a country would only cause a chaos to the whole planet. Anything like that is not beneficial. So when people say, oh, the good and bad aliens, what's a good alien? What is he going to do? Come down and help us? All these people, and I did a couple of lectures, seminars. Oh, I work with aliens.
That makes me so angry. They just automatically jumped on the bandwagon and said, we think with no experience, no understanding, you're all wrong because I think they're good people. Okay, so you've got this just stop oil people that glue themselves to things. Glue's made from oil and things like that and other things, okay? And they get there and back, and regardless of all that, they believe that an entity or a different species that can manufacture things off our planet, bring bacteria in, crash into our oceans that contain some form of radiation that can kill people, make them sick, make them die, and that's a good thing. Well, I don't think these people are seeing the whole picture. They're really not, and that's without them abducting people. That's just not for us. That's just coming to our planet. Where's the environmental port? Where are these people screaming, "Save the world now"?
Well, like Tina and I, we have direct experience, meaning we were next to an alien, next to a ship. I was never on it. Tina was many times. So her experiences are a lot different than some of mine or what I went through. But again, when I was at Sergeant 18, we filmed entities which are just as bad as aliens, but they don't have to run around in a spaceship. All right, you can call them dimensional beings, and they see people try to relate spirits, angels, and everything all together. They're separate entities.
Mm.
And when we filmed an invisible dragon. How do you film an invisible dragon? Well, we heard it flying over us, and then we heard a crash, and all these rocks fell down, and we just kept shooting the cameras. But the next morning we went out there, and we had two footprints in the ground where it landed. All right. Uh, I can go on about stories of things, and this was where Tesla worked with DuPont, and that's why I could tell that story and nobody else can. Sargel can, but I'm sure he sold out to the government because he disappeared, and he came into a lot of money. So not like Stephen Greer. Oh, they offered me $3 billion. People, we can make up stories. Like Billy Myers said, he was shot, almost killed 21 times. All right, if the government wants to take you out, people, and this is no lie, they take you out. Period. It's not if, ands, or buts. If they say take that person out, that person's gone. If they say take the whole family out, that family is gone, people. I was one when I went to see John Ford in Long Island in the nut house. They said, don't go to see him. They'll attack your family, take them out first, and then they'll come after you. So I didn't get a chance. But all the UFO people, as a group consciousness, you should try to get him out of jail because he shot the best video ever taken on this planet of a ship on a ground crash and everything around it. People, it's time to get involved. If you believe in UFOs, want to be involved with UFOs, get involved. But just don't listen to those people at conferences. They'll go on about this story and that, but every story they tell is against the government. Now, I'm going to give you a real thing. Sean David Martin's book, Sands of Time, read it. One of the most important books you'll read in the UFO world, next to Tina's. But here's the thing, people. He explains what went down, what's going down from the beginning to now. Now, these things that are happening were all prearranged. Nothing's mistakes. Oh, well, this must have been a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. And the people playing games with us make us think we're in control and doing what we're supposed to do, but we're not. We're not killers, people. And we don't go around eating people either. Or we shouldn't be, however you want to word it. But the only races that are here, there's 9. All right? I only know 5 specific ones. I mean, the other ones I can't say. I met people with them or things like that. But I just heard a couple of different people that I know. I mean, people that are dead. Getting back to people I know, I lost 16 friends completely. One family disappeared in 3 days because he came over my house and looked at pictures of UFOs. He worked for the government. All right. I have other friends, top people speaking in the lecture world, in the UFO world, taken out. If they don't want you to say something, they remove you. If Stephen Greer was saying anything important, he would not be saying it. He's letting them brainwash people to think they should talk to aliens. Thinking, oh, we're going to help you. Come on our ship. Really? If you go on their ship, what do you think is going to happen? And they don't talk about radiation. And Tina is a true example of what happens with radiation. All right. Nobody talks about that. But I'll get him back to John Ford, who was a UFO investigator on Long Island. He had a Geiger counter, and he would go out to sites and see if it was radioactive. And most people that are involved with seeing the sites usually take a Geiger counter to see if it's radioactive. So you don't think if you went on a UFO that was radioactive, you wouldn't pick up radiation? By Tina? All right, people, look, it's time to step up. If you want to get involved with the UFO world, get involved, but help bring the truth out, not the lies. Don't listen to these people. Well, let's talk to them and see what they got to say to us. Not one of them came out with anything important. Even in Tibet, I talked about this already. The lamas are in the circle chanting to talk to aliens. And the only thing they got was a disaster was going to happen. Just like Billy Myers. He came out with 100 prophecies. but he didn't stop one of them from happening or help it. People, when aliens help us, they don't help us in a good way. When the Mayan calendar was given to the Mayans, did it help save them? They play games with us, people. And until you realize that, we're not going to get away from what they're doing to people like Tina. And as soon as we realize that, I don't know how we could fight it, but having more awareness and a lot of different things, which I'm not going to get into right now. I mean, Tina's stuck in a place because they're on top of her all the time. And I mean, they're watching her. I truly feel they're keeping an eye on her because she can do something that nobody else can. So it must be in her book. So I'll let you read the book to find out what's going on in her world. But she's got
I'll tell you
incredible.
what's in my book. What's in my book is literally from the beginning. It is my investigator's report. So he's put a piece in there about my case, and it is literally just it is page and page. For some reason, I wasn't allowed to put pictures in. I wanted to put pictures in. I may just do a picture book of all my drawings and things like that. But it is just I try to put it in order from like growing up, so that people would understand it more. And I've tried to simplify it down, just the basics. What happened? Like when I was sick, this happened, and I've described the event, and it goes on for different events throughout my life. And then when certain things happen, I give my opinion, and I say that is my opinion. This is what happened, but this is my opinion. So there is a difference. I do say I think this is what So my book is based on my own experience, what happened to me only. There's nothing else in there, but it is a true account about the bonded. The reason I call it the bonded, the truth about alien abduction, is because they need something from us. They needed to show me this child. Excuse me. They needed to show me this child, this baby. They wanted her to bond with. They wanted me to bond with it. So she had some. They need something from that bond. So I call the book The Bonded, the truth about alien abduction, what actually happens to people when they're abducted. And this is what happened to me. And this is my story. It's something I didn't want to come out and do, my true account. I only came forward at the time because there's other health issues. And people should read it. It is an awareness about what is actually happening and what is going on. There is nothing special about me. I'm just one of millions of people speaking out. People should be waving the flags and greeting these things down. First off, they should be put in quarantine and they should be questioned what they're doing here. What is their purpose here? Why have you been taken with humans? To what end? What planets are you repopulating with our DNA? Who's going to be responsible for that when something goes wrong? And what happens if they come back here? And why? And who gave them the authorization to do that? There's so many tips. That's just a tip of the iceberg. So many questions and things that need looking at. But my book, this one, The Bonded, the truth about alien abduction, it is just literally purely. It would be like it is. There's no numbers on the pages. I think the book's 70 pages long. So what I've done is every page, turn it over, wrote what happened that time, put a different paper. I want it to be different. And it's going to be about the size of Russ Kellett's book. That's quite a big book. The reason for that is my cover was a big cover and they couldn't do anything with it. We tried to reduce it down and up. But then it's taken 2 years. So I just gave up and said, yes, go for the size. Just go for the size and you get a big book of that size for about £6. So if you see me about, I'll definitely sign it for you. And I'm doing Awaken Awareness in England. I'll promote that probably next week, but I'll be doing that on the Sunday the 13th. So, but get the book, and that's literally all it's about. Is just about what happened to me when I was abducted. Tommy,
Stay in touch with me. Like you don't have to just wait till Tuesday to talk to me. Anytime you get anything good going on, I could promote anytime, anywhere. Please, people. We've been doing this a long time. And we have a lot of following. You know why? People hear the truth and they run from it.
yeah, they
Rather
like the
than
truth.
embracing it and trying to agree or understand it. Oh no, that's scary, or that's wrong, or that's this, that, or the other thing. We're not trying to scare you, even though you should be. Excuse me. What's happening is not good. So all those love and light people, all these UFO people, like Caroline Corey making drones and clones and all those things like a good thing? It's not. We're a human race. We're advanced more than these other races. We got feelings, emotions, the ability to know right from wrong. We don't intentionally or should not intentionally go around killing people. So we're much better off than all these other races coming here. But realize how many races lived on this planet that were killed, taken away. Pyramids didn't save them. All these ideas that, oh, well, this the grid line. Yeah, so what? It's changing rapidly right now because of the sun and because the Earth is actually an egg shape. And it's shifting to being almost, Sean David Martin talked about a wobble a long time ago. If we hit a certain degree, the Earth will wobble and it'll spin out of control.
We're about 10,000 years overdue. Our polar cap slingshot round every 10,000 years or so. So I think we're due for something to happen.
You know, and just so you know, getting back to the sun, I watched the earthquake chart for the past, from 1900 to now. In the past 6 months, it changed incredibly from last year. Last year, it was the worst it has ever been in 50 years. But this year already, it's, just pull up the chart. There was a 7.2 3 days ago. There was a 5.9 in Mexico just yesterday. And there's multiple fives every couple of days now. That means the Earth's shaking. And when it shakes like that, the magnetic field changes. And it throws airplane instruments off, and it does a lot of bad things, people. Never mind affects animals, it affects birds, it affects creatures that run on that magnetic field. So when we talk about what's happening, if aliens were really here to help us, they would. Plain and simple. Like Tina would say, are they coming up, going, landing in front of the White House, coming out and say, we want to say hi. Let's talk about what we can do to help you. I mean, pull up the movie V. I always say that because it's incredible, because people believe this alien race, they're around the planet, and they're going to help us. Help us what? We're going to give you better work, better jobs, and everything else. We don't need that. We don't need technology. Basically, our technology is taking us further and further away from being human. Adding AI to the world is not a beneficial thing. And I'll tell you this, and it's going to come out within 2 years max, depending on what's going on with the world as well. AI was created by alien race a long time ago and given to humans. It's an entity. It's not a computer chip. We believe it's a chip, but if you learn about cells, and I mean, Japan was already putting a brain into a computer and having that chip work inside the person's brain. They've been doing that for years. But the technology aliens gave us, their knowledge is thousands of years greater than ours. And they're feeding us stuff. Out of place artifacts means something put somewhere in time that should not belong there. Aliens do that whenever they want to change the way we think. I mean, every 6 months they find a new city underground or a new city. I watched a special last night. Our satellites are filming incredible weird things around the planet. There's a triangle base station on many parts of the world, and nobody talks about them or even understands where they are, what they are, and what they're doing there. So, we're so backwards as far as our thoughts and where we're moving. We're not moving forward. We're not worrying about toxins and everything else, pollution, global warming, what's really causing it. Nobody in the United States talks about the real reasons behind it. Why is that? Nobody talks about underground cities. Why is that? All the things that are going on and money being spent is not talked about. Now, the United States spends $720 billion a year, people. And people in Congress, all these people have no clue. They don't even know what the money, where it comes from, how it gets it. They have no clue, and they don't even want to know. They're probably afraid to know because they're claiming that we have no money. So, the lies that are out there are to control us, not to make us better, not to make the world better. It makes the rich people richer, the world worse in conditions than it has ever been. And it's, if you think anything's bad yet, wait till the food and everything else starts crashing. We're going into chaos. Can we stop it? I don't know. Man's too stupid to get involved to try to stop it. They believe Trump, or they believe Biden. They should be doing better things than they are. If you got that much power, do something good for people.
Isn't
and
your
they
election soon in America? When's your next election?
well, it starts next year. The campaigns and Trump and all these other people trying to bid for presidency. But the president's only a puppet. The secret service, secret government is in control of the world, not just people, not just the United States people. Meaning they deal with races, alien races, and they're not good. I mean, please, anybody out there sees an incredible good thing happening because an alien did something, let us know. We'll put it up right away. I would love to see something like that, but it's not going to happen. I know John Lennon was given an artifact. He's the only person I know in the UFO world that was actually handed something, and he had it. But he hated aliens, and he gave it to Uri Geller. So, famous person. So, people, why would that happen? Why did they kill John Lennon? See, there's so many things that people don't link together. Everything fits together. If you don't know the missing pieces, it's like having a puzzle with 100 pieces missing. You'll never get the puzzle put together. If you watch The Matrix, you'll understand the situation. People, it's time for Tina to pull out her Geiger counter, and we'll see if she's radioactive today.
Yeah, let me grab that.
Well, a while ago, I said to her, "We need you to get a Geiger counter, and I'll get one." And we both did. We both got the same one, and we didn't make them up. They're not toys.
So
I got the exact same.
This I got from Amazon for about £20, £18, I think it was.
I think mine was like $24.
Yeah. And this is my second one. The first one I dropped in a cup of tea, I think, Christmas for
And
her.
that's the second one, right, for her.
Right, so what I'm going to do is hold it towards me. And normally the top one doesn't go. So at the top one there, you will see it says volts per
It's
meter
only a 3, though. It's not that bad.
and micro testers at the bottom. Normally it reads 0. Okay, now I'm going to hold it closer to me. Here we go. It will frighten me. Yeah, there you go. So as you see, the bottom actually says harmful. Hold on. It says, okay, it's safe now. When it starts beeping, it says harmful. So there you go. I want to take it away from me. It goes down, and then I'm just going to try this side.
See, mine only goes off on the top scale. Hers goes off on the bottom scale. And I check mine a lot. I take my Geiger counter in my car and drive around town with it. It goes off near the one cell tower. It goes off when I go past the school. They buried bombs underneath this ground where the school is, and it's radioactive. But mine never goes off on the bottom, except once in a while, when I put my Geiger counter over Tina's face on the computer, it'll go off. I'm just trying to see if it'll do it.
Yeah, the thing is going off the chart there, but yeah. So there you go, guys. So it picks up. It's safe at the moment, but it gives off harmful micro Tesla readings.
I got a reading of 20.
My face is starting to hurt, actually.
Tina, I got a reading of 23 when I put it on your face on the screen right now, on the bottom. And my top's 280. So, yeah, my computer's screen is pretty bad. But,
so there you go. So it just does. You should get one of these and test yourself.
You should test yourself, test where you go, test everywhere you are, because you need to know where you shouldn't be. All right? They're not expensive. I mean, if you're just looking for energy, magnetic energy, which is dangerous as well, it's a good thing to have. My screen's bad for me. I know that. When I get a couple extra dollars, I'll buy a new screen. People, there's so many things that they're feeding us, giving us, and it's not to help us get better, be smarter, be healthier. While they promote the opposite. Oh, this will cure you. This cures everything. This helps everything. But everything they give us, if it cures one thing, it creates 25 other things in your body. And that should be a warning that, okay, it's not really beneficial. Oh, this can cure your coughing, but it might kill you. Oh, really? The side effects of these drugs and medicine are
That's
super
true.
dangerous. And who created them? Why? What reason? Well, I mean, sure, you want money. I mean, there's an easier way. You just print money if you want paper money. But gold, do you know the United States and other countries can actually make gold? Just said, of course, well, with the technology we had, I'm not saying what they have right now, we can make gold. It costs about 100 times more than the gold that they get after trying to make it. But that was years ago, that technology. And I'm sure alien races had to, when they said these alien races came down here to mine gold.
Have you
Another
seen
stupid story.
the Sumerian people said that they mined gold, and that these Anunnaki people.
Did you see him come down and tell you that?
No, I just no. I'm only going on these scripture people, the translation of scriptures, and I've been trying to watch more TV lately, but it's not happened.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, no, I like to, learn what I can. I love to see things like everybody else should see things themselves, ask them questions, go places,
You
see
know
if
what we
it's.
need, Tina? You
Hmm?
know when they have a live like UFO show or anything like that? An actual chat in the bottom of the screen where we could actually type in something while they're talking and telling their baloney stories.
No, Tommy. Oh, Jesus, I can imagine that. We'd be the
Well,
hated
you
duo of
can't,
all
you can't even get in touch
time.
with these people. I'm
Yeah.
paying for Richard Dolan's site
Oh,
$7 a month.
no.
I pay $11 for the Skinwalker site every month.
What?
I'm ready to jump. I'm
That's
ready
like
to drop open.
$120 something a year.
And for what? They won't even talk to me. I
Tommy,
wrote,
look, buy my book for £6 on Amazon. Best £6 you'll ever buy.
I've been doing this.
You don't need
Just,
to spend £121. Just buy it £6 and get you the truth right there and then.
I've been trying. I do things to talk to people, put money into it. I did it with my medicine woman. I mean, to sit down with her for 2 hours, you had to give her $125. One of
What?
my, I'm telling you, seriously. Now, a friend of mine who's cool, Max Christopher of Kunlun, charged, I think, $100 to sit down with him for an hour. I paid it just to sit down with them personally at a personal level to talk to them. In the beginning, I mean, he invited me to his house for a week and everything else later on. But I'm willing to do things to talk to a person for real. And at that point, I realize where they are. I mean, it's great to understand where these quote people, famous people, spiritual people, psychic people are. And most of them are full of it. And I hate to say that. And people believe this. And even worse, they believe aliens they never met or heard or talked to or even seen as real and important. Yeah, they're important to themselves, like you're important to yourself, or you should be. But
Yeah.
alien ships, on the other thing is, when I was at Sardell 18, we had a camera that shot 300 frames a second. Skinwalker Ranch says they got a camera that shoots 3,000 frames a second.
Technology.
Do you know to watch 3,000 frames a second would take forever? So I don't know how they
That's why
could
they
even
have
watch it.
computers and things like that.
I don't know how they could even watch it to find things going through it. Because when Sargell used to sit down, he stayed up all night watching these movies, the videos we shot, in slow motion, meaning frame by frame. And they're talking about 300 frames 1 second. How many it is in an hour? A lot. But he would stop it, and we'd see ships come in and out. So meaning they're traveling at the speed of light, people, not the way we travel, much faster every which way. So when people say, well, I was trying to tell the Skinwalker Ranch, you want to film UFOs? You got this beautiful, incredible camera, point it at the sky, leave it on for an hour. Don't move it. Set it for 3/4 of the distance. You're going to film UFOs. They're flying over us in great numbers, people. We used to
Yeah.
film anywhere from 4 to 10 in a half hour.
Well, they're definitely flying over my house.
You're an
If
exception
you
to the rule.
interrupt it, yeah, go to
I
Admiral Basildon, mate. Have a look.
they
It's
love
over there
you.
for an hour or two,
Right.
and it's
You
unreal. But
know, the
it's
next
that time
time,
I've got to say goodbye, Tommy.
I
'Cause
know, but before you go,
too
next time you meet with them, which hopefully isn't anytime soon,
I never want to go through that again, ever.
I know you don't, but like you said, they do have your children and they do keep an eye on you. So, with that alone, you can't walk away from it. And you can communicate with them. So, and they don't like that, and I'm sure they don't.
I don't
So
like
yeah.
that. I don't like that.
Well,
But
look, I'll let you finish up, but it's always a pleasure, Tina. Please stay in touch. Always stay in touch. Anything good, bad, or indifferent. I don't
sorry,
care.
you enlighten me each week, and it is great. And to John coming back relentlessly, thank you, sweetheart. And again, I've been Tina Brad here in Southampton on the UK. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all those social media platforms. You can find me on my YouTube channel now, or you can find me on Amazon. This is my third book. You could go to Amazon. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. You can find me on there. It's £6. £6 best money you'll ever spend in your life. It's a truth account. There you go. So there it is. There it is. There. It's already got a 5-star review by someone who's already read it. It's only been out about 4 days, I think. It's also on Kindle edition. There it is. There. Look out for it. But yeah, I've been Tina Brady in Southampton in the UK. You can Facebook me, message me, come on the show. Like I said before, if you have a previous question from another show or an answer, Tommy's just going to put his email address up quickly so you can
Tina,
email.
is
Yes.
your book an ebook? Or
I've got
no?
I've got a paperback book, and it's on what's it called?
Well, if it's an ebook, they can find it.
Yeah, Kindle edition. There, so
Okay, all right.
there you go. I have a
Cool.
Kindle edition and paperback.
No problem. Well, it's always a pleasure,
Please
Tina.
buy the paperback, then I'll be an international bestseller again. Because there'll be someone outside the country. But thank you very much. To see you all next week, guys. Keep looking up. For me, bye-bye.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys.
All right. Tina Bird, great person, people. She's not a storyteller. She's not a liar, and she's going through hell. All right. What she's going through, what she went through. When we first started doing the show, she had all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. For real. I don't know how much she's going to get into that in her book, but she was losing her fingernails, her hair, her teeth every month. Passing out. She'd fall down, and half of her body would be black and blue. She fell down a flight of stairs. I mean, all these things were happening to her all the time. And now she's pretty sick. They don't know. They keep telling her it's a heart. Then they said it's the virus, that the second dose of the virus vaccine and everything else. They keep giving her stories, but they're not helping her. People, it's time to focus on the truth. If anybody, you out there, has any connections to these great so-called spiritual, religious, supernatural, or UFO people, please, I'll debate them live on the show or offline, because the truth is hurting people. I don't care what people do, but when you hurt other people, you're creating your own karma, and you might not pay it off until you leave this planet, but you're still hurting other people. And that's the one law that we cannot forget or avoid. I mean, the Constitution is a lie, but the commandments was true. There's nothing in the 10 Commandments that hurt people. Nothing. The Constitution is the biggest lie. The right to carry guns. I know people don't like me for saying that. Even Phil Schneider said, well, if they take away our rights to carry guns, what else are they going to take away? They took everything away. We don't have the freedom of speech. We don't have the freedom to protect our home. We don't have any freedom left, people. Do you realize that? And we're in the United States, called the free country. We're free to live in the country? Yeah, but don't try to leave it. All right, people. If there's any questions, please, I'm going to put my email up there. Text me. I mean, I can bring you on to ask the question. You can come on yourself anytime. If you have something important to ask us, I'm open to questions. I'll answer just about anything pertaining to the fields I deal with. I don't go into the spiritual end of anything because Tina's not there. I don't blame her. I mean, I went through bad things, but if I went through all the bad things that Tina went through, I might not believe there's a God or angels or a good government, because nobody's helping her. Nobody. 2 years, they blocked her book from coming out. She sent it to the printer. Oh, we can't print it. Can't print my book? Why? And I tried another company. Oh, you can't print my book? Why? It's crazy what was going on with her. Plus, her boyfriend was almost taken out twice in the month and a half. I mean, Men in Black went to see her friend. Well, they're watching her. They have to be. the same as they watch me. I've been being watched because when Sargell sold out, I guess they decided to give him money because that's all he wanted. He always said, if they give me enough money, I'll leave. I'll let go of it. He was a psychic for the government. And then they wouldn't let him work with people, so he stopped working for the government. But in the interim, we would drive down the road at 70 miles an hour. The cops would pull us over, and he goes, I'm Sergeant 18, and they would just drive away. Seriously. He had clout. Whether they were all afraid of him, who knows what they were. He claimed to be Sergeant 18, meaning the 18th captain of a ship, a UFO. All right. I had a friend who was a psychic in the UFO world come over our house, his house, and she walked in and she goes, whose ship's above us? She goes, oh, that's my ship. This was out two people that never met each other. And then when we went up to where we film all the UFOs and everything else, Sergeant used to go, there's two aliens over in that corner, and they monitor everything that goes on here. And she went there with us one night. Gets out, who's those guys in the corner over there? I mean, I didn't see them. So there's a frequency that these kind of people all vibrate in, the same as the Galactic Confederation and the Air Star Command. All these things are not good, people. It takes away your idea of a God and fills it with a void of universal energy. Energy, we're all energy. If you're energy, you're useless because then you can't even think. If you're a light beam shooting through the sky, you're just a light beam. Is it thinking how, where, what? No. The thing that makes us different than all things is the awareness that soul has, meaning what it is. People, I don't do this show to make money. Sure, I'd like to get a couple dollars and buy a real night vision goggles. I got 3 cameras. I'm thinking about buying another one. It's $400. But it's the ones I have were cheap, but I can still film the stars and anything I see at night. The one that I want for $400 is actually in color. The ones I have are black and white. But infrared usually is either green or red. But I usually shut that off because looking at the sky, that infrared's not going to go up to the sky. But night vision goggles, I don't know how they work because they can go all the way up to the sky and you can see every kind of ship moving around up there. If you have money out there and you're in the UFO world, buy a pair. You'll never regret it. You'll have so much fun watching the sky. Might get so afraid of what's going on up there. But it's going on all the time, people. It's like, oh, I saw a UFO in my life. Stephen Greer comes out, well, I was young and I saw a giant, real UFO. He saw a real UFO when he was, 9, 8, whatever age he was? I started seeing him from 6 years old. I want to tell you a story. I go over it a lot, but I was 6 years old. My brother was just about 8. He was having his tonsils out for the second time because they screwed up the first time, and I was having mine out. And I hate to say his name, Bill Cosby. We used to get his album every month and listen to him. And he did a song, Ice Cream. We're going to get ice cream, because he was having his tonsils taken out, and he said the ice cream, and he sang his song. So I'm in the crypt in the cage that they put us in the hospital, and singing ice cream. We're going to get ice cream, like every kid likes ice cream, hopefully. But what happens is they cut a piece of your throat out. So that night, it was 12 midnight by my perception. My brother was across from me by one window. There was another boy in the room on the other side in the other corner. And him and me were talking. And my brother was in the crib on the left side of me. And all of a sudden I see him stand up to the back of the thing like this, screaming, Tommy, 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 Tommy. I hopped over the crib, ran over to the window. Sure enough, there was a ship right out the window shooting this beam in at him. And I put my hands up like this on the glass. Don't ask me why I did that. The beam stopped, and then I watched the ship shoot straight back out into space. That was the first experience with a UFO I had, the first one. And then they just escalated from then on. I can go on and on about that kind of story as well. I mean, one followed me for a half hour. I mean, I saw the regular ships, the circular ones with the lights going around it, followed me for about 10 minutes. I came from Long Island. One followed me for at least a half hour. But is it government stuff? Well, there's government stuff always involved. but they're always involved when there's UFO stuff involved. So people, I saw my first alien when I was 12. It came in our house. I was with my friend, and we chased it with bats and stuff. The ship landed in our yard. People, I became aware of all this when I was young. All right. So it wasn't like I have to prove it to other people because I knew it was real to myself. But trying to get other people to believe that is almost impossible. Because as time went on, by the time I actually started working and stuff like that, people just said, "You're crazy. Why waste your time on UFOs? They're not real." I said, "I have more pictures." At that time, I showed them to people where I worked. I showed them to my judge when I was in court. And he even asked me to come in later to tell me that him and his wife were in a car and it stopped. This light hit the car and they lost hours of time. So, people don't like to talk about it. People forget it. And then there's also people that just have missing time. When I was doing hypnosis, I would bring people back into that time to see what actually happened. People, it's not a good thing. Aliens are not good. They are not here to help us. They never will be. They want the planet. They need the planet radioactive. They're not going to stop the sun from doing what it's doing, because in the next 2 years, planet Earth is going to be so radioactive. The Greys can live here. Reptilians can live here. They're radioactive. They need it. Probably almost as much as air as we need. All right? We need air, I mean. So, are you ready to deal with the truth? New Jersey was a hot spot. I'm in Hawaii, and it's not even half. It's 10 times hotter than New Jersey was. Even though Sargel, his girlfriend, and I were up on a mountain, Pine Bush, New York, which was a UFO sighting spot in New York, so a giant ship go straight into the ground. I mean, we went there and looked. It was nothing done to the ground or nothing. But like I said, they have the ability to do things like that. But the most important UFO story, nobody can talk about it. And I can. Why? Sargel and I were there all the time. We filmed all kinds of creatures, ships, and everything on this property, which is important to talk about. I mean, Al Bielek and Preston Nichols, when they were together, Preston Nichols would tell great stories. I went to listen to him talk. I mean, when he was really heavy, he was eating a pizza while he was doing his lecture. I mean, I could even tell you, he said, "Well, the aliens dropped all these cows in my yard and I had to return them all." He came up with great stories. But at the end, I don't know if I should get this call. Hold on 1 second. Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Sheila from Hipcard Solutions. Am I speaking with Annie?
I'm in the middle of a show. Can you call me back in about 10 minutes?
Oh, okay. No problem.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, people. But we have a lot to look for as far as what we need to do in our own lives to make it work, to survive, to get as much as we can while we're here. It might not be long. But then again, you should know where you're going to go when you leave this body. All right? Where aliens go when they leave their body. What happens? All these things. Nobody can talk about it. Nobody has that kind of experience. I spent my whole life traveling out of my body, meeting with angels, deities, traveling to different realms and stuff like that. Watching people reincarnate over and over and do regressions with people that have. People, how many people can go through all this? I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I've been there and done it. And I could talk about things that I have experienced, not what people wrote about or said. I'm aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis. All right. Which was an incredible time until the end. Now, I did a debate with Carrie Cassidy on her show twice about what happened in Atlantis. She said she was there. She was there at the end times and stuff. I wasn't. I mean, I didn't watch it completely destroyed. But I did watch 5 races leave the planet. There were 9 races. But see, all these things matter. And basically, the Anunnaki did not create us, people. Zachariah Sitchin, I don't know what should have happened to him, but he should have never been allowed to put that book out because it's lies. But he'll pay the karma for that. When you put lies out there, you're the one that's got to face it in the end, nobody else. I mean, the people that follow it, they're open. People, and even in the Bible it says you're not responsible for things you don't know. So if you don't know they're lying and you believe what they say, guess what? You agree with it. Like, we have the right to carry a gun. No, we don't. We don't have the right to kill anybody. Aliens don't either, but they don't have any kind of laws. Oh, the ones that protect the universe. No, the universe isn't protected. That's why they're all coming to planet Earth. Why will our races leave and get destroyed and taken out? We're in a sad place, sad events happening. And I'm saying if you can get enjoyment at some level, find it, keep it, hold on to it, because it's not going to last long. So I kept you here long enough, people. I hope you got something out of today. I'm against a lot of the UFO conferences, seminars, whatever you want to call them, where they talk about how bad our government is. I'm not going to get into that. They're protecting the world, people. Not protecting you and me, but they're protecting the world and the rich people that live here. And that's what they get paid to do. The same as when a person for the government gets paid to take, well, they were working for the government, have to take somebody out. They do it. All right. Keep them in mind, because there's no such thing as a good alien. It's like saying there's a good roach. They're all the same. Oh, there's good and bad one? No, they're not. It's an entity. Bees are one entity. I mean, they follow the queen, all of them. So again, when we say this, that, the other thing, a lot of races have a controlling entity. And not the Anunnaki, sorry, wrong word. The mantis control most of the lower races. On any major ship, there's usually one mantis controlling it. They override the reptilians, the Greys, the Nordics. The Nordics are not a good race. The tall whites are separate. They're not bad and they're not good. People, get your act together. Learn the facts, learn the truth, experience it. Might help you a real lot. The tall whites, we can't go near them. They will kill us if we touch them, people. And that's real. There's a base. There's Area 51, 52, 53, and 54. Each one's a different race of beings up there, and the government has them there. We're so far in this twisted world. We have Russian bases in the United States. We have bases in Russia. I mean, do you understand any of that? I'm sure you don't. While they make us believe this is important, that's important, and this is the way it's going to end. No, they're not going to tell you that. One world order in 7 years? Pretty scary. All right, people. Peace, love, compassion. Whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it. Don't stop until you do. I'm going to prepare for our storm. It's a little bit clear right now, but they said it's going to come in tonight. People are really worried. But, we have a government, an army base up here that protects the United States and the world. So they'll protect Hawaii if anything major is going to happen. They can't have their base get hurt, even though it's on top of the mountain, underground, and all that. But we got 2 bases in Hawaii. And both of them are super high tech, and both of them have a HARP system. Till next time.
Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. I can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky